The duel hall of Corvani's Prime was filled with the echo of chants and boots against steel. 1,000 alien warriors packed the circular viewing platforms, claws scratching the railings in anticipation. The red light of the sun filtered in through the arched windows, glinting off armor and weapons alike. In the center of it all stood a lone human, Captain Rylan Voss, out of place, out of uniform, and to many out of his depth. He stood barefoot in the dueling pit, his stance loose, relaxed even, amid a sea of scaled, tusked, or tentacled warriors of the Zarn Empire. His clothes were simple, loose black trousers and a vest that showed his battle-scarred arms. He hadn't spoken since entering the arena. He just watched, focused. Across from him, the challenger towered. Commander Kareth of House Sylvan, highborn of the war clans, stood nearly 7 feet tall, muscles coiled beneath her silver-streaked armor. A curved blade the length of a human torso rested across her back. Her golden, feline eyes locked on the human with suspicion and something else. Annoyance. Intrigue. Whatever it was, it sparked when their eyes met. "Why did you look at me like that, human?" Karetha's voice rang through the air, amplified by the arena's acoustics. The crowd fell silent. Rylan didn't flinch. He simply tilted his head and replied, "I looked because you reminded me of someone who thought they couldn't be beaten." Gasps spread like a virus. On Corvani's Prime, challenges were sacred. A single insult could provoke ritual combat. But here it wasn't an insult. It was a mirror. And Kareth saw it. Her lips curled into a grin that showed sharp teeth. "Then it is true. This shall be settled in the pit." Middle. The duel was not part of any treaty, not part of any diplomatic negotiation. It began because of a look. A challenge that neither warrior could back down from. 3 hours earlier, Rylan Voss had been sent to negotiate trade terms between the United Human Coalition and the Zarn Empire. Kareth had dismissed him as another soft-world envoy. When Rylan had walked past her in the Hall of Blades and held her gaze, unafraid, unwavering, everything changed. Now, as the klaxon sounded, Kareth unsheathed her blade in one swift metallic whisper. The curved edge gleamed under the twin moons that rose beyond the arena dome. Rylan had no weapon. The crowd jeered. Kareth rushed forward, a blur of motion. Her strike was a wide arc, meant to test his reflexes. Rylan ducked it cleanly, slid forward, and touched her gauntlet before leaping back. The audience murmured. "No strike. No weapon?" she asked mid-motion. "I don't need one," he said. She didn't believe him, so she pressed harder. Their duel became a dance. Rylan dodged, weaved, never attacking. Each motion was surgical. Every time her blade should have struck, it found air. She grew frustrated. The crowd grew tense. Then Rylan stepped inside her reach and swept her legs out from under her. The great commander of House Sylvan slammed into the pit's floor. Gasps again. But Rylan didn't follow through. He backed away. Kareth stood, fury in her eyes. "You insult me." "No," he replied. "I'm showing you something you forgot. That power without control is a storm that destroys everything, including the wielder." Kareth charged again, and this time she roared. Their fight lasted nearly 20 minutes. Rylan never drew a blade. He never struck to injure. He dodged her wildest blows, matched her calculated feints, and countered every unpredictable move. But it wasn't just about fighting anymore. Something unspoken passed between them in every exchange. He was testing her, but not just physically. Testing her temper, her restraint, her pride. And she, in turn, was learning. When Rylan caught her wrist mid-swing and twisted it gently, forcing her to drop her blade. The silence that fell over the arena was absolute. The great Kareth stood there, disarmed, breathing hard. And Rylan. He stepped back and bowed. Not to mock, but to show respect. Ending. Karetha's golden eyes narrowed as she picked up her fallen weapon. But she didn't raise it again. The grand arbiter of the arena stepped into the pit. Is this duel concluded? Kareth stared at Rylan, expression unreadable. Then she raised her arm to the crowd and shouted in her native tongue. This human fought with no blade, no venom, no hatred. He disarmed me and yet granted me dignity. I declare the duel resolved. Honor has been shared. The crowd erupted, not in confusion but in approval. The Zarn Empire respected strength, yes, but strength with honor. That was rare. As the crowd chanted, Kareth approached Rylan and looked down at him. You knew this would happen when you looked at me, didn't you? I hoped, Rylan said. I needed to show someone like you that we're not all what you expect. And what am I to you now? She asked, folding her arms. A leader, he said plainly. One worth following, not just fearing. The silence between them buzzed with electricity. You have sharp eyes, human, she murmured. Too sharp. And you have a good heart, buried under all that steel and pride. She barked a short laugh. Careful, or I'll start thinking you're flirting. Who says I'm not? Their eyes locked again. This time the crowd didn't cheer or gasp. They watched, because this was no longer about a duel. Later that night, as the stars blanketed the domes of Corvani's prime, Kareth invited Rylan to walk the flame gardens with her, a tradition reserved for those one wished to know deeply. And as they walked side by side, she said quietly, When you looked at me, I saw challenge. But now, when I look at you, I see something else. Curiosity, he offered. Danger, she replied with a smirk. But also, possibility. The Zarn Empire never saw humans the same after that duel. Not as soft diplomats, not as weak prey, but as equals. Because one human dared to look a war-born leader in the eyes, and never blinked.